classes, which are slower yoga classes, but the postures aren't as active. I have Vinyasa Flow, which are my favorite.
Right.
And I also do power yoga classes, some meditation classes. So it gives you a variety of different types of classes.
Okay, perfect. Because, yeah, I mean, you answered that spot on, because I knew, some people you said try different ones and find one you like. Because I know guys that went into karate, then they didn't like it, so they didn't want to leave the art, so they switched to Muay Thai. And then they love that. So, like you said, I see, because we are truly, we are way beyond the industrial age, the technological age. We are truly in the age of enlightenment. I mean, you see folk now rushing to this mindfulness thing. So it looks like you and I were a little bit ahead of the curve. So excellent. So in looking at your website, and I know you and your family travel, and what's just one of the coolest, what's the coolest place you ever had a session?
That I've had a session.
Yeah, because I see you on the beach in your pictures. I see you everywhere. So
I would probably say I love a beach yoga session.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Costa Rica, which I've been to 3 times.
Oh.
So I would probably say Costa Rica on the beach, early in the morning, because it's very peaceful, and then you have the relaxation of the waves, and the sun isn't too hot depending on what time you get out there.
Gotcha.
And so it's very peaceful during that time.
Gotcha. Yeah, because after my wife saw you and your family out there in Costa Rica, and she's like, "We're going next year." I'm like, "Okay."
So, yes, go.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about, because I know when I've had people that I've known, or people I was familiar with, and I would run up on them just outside of my gym sometime down by the lake. And I'm like, "Oh, that's Susie," or "Oh, that's John." And, so I'm walking over there where they are, and they're meditating. And I guess they're so cold with it that, I wouldn't want to interrupt or anything, but I would ding or trip or kick something by accident. I mean, totally, I could say they're in the zone, because they couldn't hear, they wouldn't flinch. So, is that how that is? I mean, do you hear anything when you're in meditation? At your point, with 200 hours into the degree you are, you're probably gone, right?
You can hear stuff. So there are different levels of the meditation practice. So initially, you're paying attention to how you feel, and you're noticing all of your senses. You're seeing where the tension is in your body. So you're noticing all the things going on internally.
Gotcha.
And so the deeper you get into the meditation practice, the more you do kind of zone out, and you go within, and you go deeper and deeper within until you block everything out.
Gotcha.
But it depends. It takes a long time
to master that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people, you talk, and I guess that would be dangerous for some people to see what their insides are going on. And, because I truly believe that from within is without. And I've actually, and I'm a witness to when I had been just down and out internally, how my external environment was a direct mirror image of it. And I think folks really don't know how they could truly change their life by changing their attitude of mind and really knowing what's going on. Because let's talk about these poses. So when you look at these poses, I mean, it's crazy. So can you do them all?
I wish I could do them all. I can't do them all. This year I'm going to be practicing handstands.
Okay.
So I'm trying to build up to handstands, but I can do headstands. All of this is practice.
Right.
So, for example, I posted a headstand on my page one day on Instagram.
Right.
And this guy who knew me when I first started in Atlanta, he was like, "Wow, your headstand got so good. I remember when it wasn't that good."
Right.
It's all a practice.
Yeah. It's just like any basketball, golf, tennis, yoga. Because when you look at some of these, and this is one of the things that I thought was just really cool. This was years. I've been trying to find this movie ever since, and it was about this assassin. I guess he was like a rich guy, very smart, young dude, good looking guy, but the movie started with him doing poses, and then it was like he was like one of 2 people in the world in the movie that could actually strike this pose. But anyway, after he was on one hand, but he had his whole body like wrapped up, levitating, and but he was balancing all this on one hand. Is that a true pose, or is that just a movie thing?
No, that's a true pose. It's just like a one-handed handstand, which does take a lot of skill, takes a lot of core work,
Right.
and it takes a lot of concentration.
Got you. Because I was looking at the most challenging yoga poses, and they talk about the handstand scorpion, the side plank, the plow pose, the tripod handstand, and that's like, and the yoga sleeping. They supposed to be the hardest 5, 1 through 5. Is that correct?
I think that depends on the person. So, for example, for some people, depending on your flexibility and your strength, you might be able to do handstands because you've always done them as a kid, and like you've never lost that strength and that ability.
Right.
But you might have super tight hips, so you might not be able to do splits or something like that.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm sitting here and, I got my chakra collection in front of me. I see you have the chakras image on your site. Me and my ignorance, not knowing the by definition, the relevance of the chakras. I do have in my daily affirmation that my chakras are churning in complete harmony and only attracting those things that support my worthy ideals in my daily affirmation. How are they relevant? Tell me, school us on chakras. I know the chakra and on my stone collection here, the head, the quartz crystal, the tailbone, the garnet. Talk to me about that.
Sure. So chakras are really just energy centers within the body. And so depending on where the energy center is, that is the focus for that chakra.
Got it.
So for example, you said at the top of your head, you have like the crown chakra for your
quartz crystal is the stone. Yeah.
Yeah, and so certain colors go with different chakras.
Gotcha.
But then at the bottom of that chakra center, you might see like a reddish color, which is the root chakra. So all the way up the center of your body to the top of your head, you have these different energy centers, and they can be in balance and they can be out of balance. If they're out of balance, they can be too active or not active enough.
Gotcha.
And so the goal with the chakra system is to try to get all of your chakras in balance at one time, which is very difficult, but that is the goal.
And is that like a part of yoga and meditation, is to try to get those energy centers in harmony?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So you're focusing on the different energy centers. For example, there's a chakra right there at the heart. And it doesn't mean that your heart is always closed off. Your heart could be too open, and you allow people to treat you any kind of way.
Right.
So you want to be able to like balance it, like not have it too open, but not closed off.
Got you. So that, when the things I've been studying over the years, and the people talk about the law of attraction, all of these things, but and that harmony, when you're truly, I would think that, do you believe in anything like thought becoming things, and really a person that's focused, gazelle focused? I know the quality of life increases, and they flow through life, but do they become more magnetic in their desires?
I think so. I think if you look across different philosophies, different religions, the things that we speak out into the world,
right,
do come into fruition if we believe them. Even if you think Bible, you think life and death is in the power of the tongue. People who practice yoga may say, you are your words, you become your words, those types of things. So I think across different religions, we know that we are able to speak life into areas, and we are also able to speak death into different areas. Absolutely.
And it's so funny you said that. I posted a quote on on Facebook last evening, and I actually, I think I may have sent it to a couple of family members. Let me see if I can find it, but it speaks exactly to what you're saying. But I remember it. It talked about that, just that. The power of the tongue and that quality of life, becoming bilingual is a wonderful thing and can increase your, financial flow as well as your quality of life. But you've got to master your native language. And if you don't know how to master your native language and you're speaking ill and not self-serving positive thoughts, all you're going to do is speak, to your point, death or life in a Mandarin tongue. So you really got to understand, like you said, speaking positively. And you talked about, and back to that chapter 2 in the book Access to Success, I kind of talk about that. So as a man thinketh, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. I mean, us all of it through the Bible biblically. Ephesians 3:20. Now unto whom that is able to do. When you think about the word thought, think, exceeding and abundantly above, what we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in him. Because I broke it down when I was researching, and I said, wow, people think, I say, well, what's prayer? And then people are immediately able to say, oh, well, it's a communicating with God. And I said, well, I look at it as a fervent petition to God with an absolute, result, expected result. And God, and whatever the deity that you may subscribe, not only answers your prayers, he answers your thoughts. So if you would take out, or swap out some words and plug in, thinking and thought, instead of, all things that, whomsoever shall ask in prayer, Matthew. And again, that prayer and that thinking be synonymous, not tampering with the Bible by any means, but all things whosoever ye shall ask in thought, believing, ye shall ye receive. And then you can go through Mark and John, because everything's energy. And energy is matter. So I totally agree. Wow. What would you say to a novice layperson that wants to practice yoga?
Sure. I would say try to go to a yoga studio or try to get into a class, maybe online. Mm-hmm. And I would say go to maybe a beginner's class or a slower flow class. When I started, I jumped right in.
Right.
Okay, Vinyasa. I wouldn't tell people to do that because it is difficult. You have to get the breath along with the movement.
Gotcha.
But just start.
Right.
And get on your mat. And if you have a good yoga teacher, they will be able to guide you through the practice. And also do your own research. Learn a little bit about the practice before you get on your mat. Okay. Learn some different poses. You might not know the Sanskrit words, but they also have English translations to those Sanskrit words for the yoga poses. And so even if all you can do, and they say this in certain yoga studios, mm-hmm. even if all you can do for the day because you're tired is child's pose, mm-hmm. that's okay.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this has been great, Carmen. This has been awesome. I mean, I think about the core of the podcast, Fill Your Own Void, and we focus on, becoming our own life coaches and making sure that the mind, body, and spirit is in harmony, right? So, I think because of that relationship between that trinity, the mind, body, and spirit, spirit or soul in woman is the one, and man or woman is the only one in that trinity or that relationship that really gets neglected to the other two. I feel like yoga and meditation kind of reverses that in the favor of the soul and the spirit, where you're really neglecting the mind and the body. Thoughts on that?
I agree. I think that yoga does help you get to the root. So you're not so much as thinking about the external things like the body and the mind,
right.
but you're tapping into something a little bit deeper. And as life gets more difficult, as challenges arise, yoga just provides us with an avenue to help us kind of cope with life.
Yes.
And the lessons that you learn on the mat translate into real life.
Well, I will be honest with you. It is not needed any more than now. It is super duper 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 needed. I mean, this is a time where we are all, dealing with a lot of different things. And as you mentioned, because, suffering only exists in two of those three, right? You got the mind, mental suffering, and in the body, physical suffering. I've not ever heard of soul or spiritual suffering. And if there is, you can't blame nobody for that. That's your fault. And I think, that's where we can control that. No, we can't blame anybody else for that, and that's where you can remove yourself. Again, this has been great, great, great. And probably nobody referred to me when I said I'm taking copious notes, little cuz. Yes, everyone, here again. This is my little cousin, Carmen. I love you, cuz.
I love you too.
And thank you so much, people. I tell you what, I do truly, and we all do have diamonds beneath our feet in our family. We got to tap into them, tap into each other. And I'll definitely be continuing to, invite you on. Please join us. I mean, keep up the worthy and great work